people are so anxious about all of the AI tools and artificial intelligence that it's actually creating a lot of opportunity for this genuine human connection. And when you get it used to be like we would see an email that came out from somebody and be like, oh, an email, yay. And now we're like, oh my gosh, I don't know this person. This email's not personalized. Go away. And so if you just literally introduce a small bit of human connection. So if we didn't know each other and I went to connect with you on LinkedIn and I said, hey, it looks like you're based in Texas. I was just in Texas last week for a soccer tournament. Like we were at this complex and all of a sudden you go, ding, 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 not a robot. This person has something to share and now we have a shared connection. So I think that like element in today's world is so powerful that I've noticed by just DMing someone and being like, hey, I'd love to see if you and I could work together on this project. And normally I'd be like, oh, they don't know me. But the fact that I just asked and I asked in a genuine human way, now these relationships are coming together. So I think you're totally spot on.
It's true. Yeah. Like it could be in person or online about going up to someone and saying, hey, this is who I am. This is what I do. Like, I'm not sure how we can support each other. I want to put that out there.
Yeah, I do have a story when I did that once and I was completely like, I have a couple of those where, you know, you crash and burn. And at the time you're kind of like, oh my gosh, I want to crawl under a rock. But now it's a story that I think like is a good lesson. So I followed this guy online before podcasting was kind of pretty big. Listened to his podcast, was at this conference, found him. I was going to launch a podcast. Super excited about the title. And I sat down like next to him. I was like, hey, my name's Ali. And he's like, what are you doing here at the conference? And I said, I'm here because I want to launch a podcast. This was like 10 years ago. And he says, what's the name of it? And I still laugh thinking about this. I told him the name and he goes, you mean like, and he pulls up the podcast on his phone that his best friend, who's this like giant celebrity guy, runs with the exact name that I wanted to name my podcast. And so my lesson here is like a quick Google search can save you from a ton of embarrassment because that was stupid. Why did I not Google search to see if someone else had that podcast name before I went around like telling everybody? And then secondly, like I just looked like a complete idiot and I excused myself pretty quickly, hoping that he didn't remember who I was.
Oh,
but
no.
I mean, it was just, it's laughable because now when I'm in a position where people are coming to me as a marketing professional saying, hey, we want to do this, and they get really excited. And my first question is, have you researched this? And they're like, well, and I say, let me tell you a story. And so that story helps me kind of break down that barrier and say, I was once stupid like this. Let me help prevent you from making the same mistake.
I love that for sure. And it gives them a reference point because somebody might decide on a name and there might be a company that's similar, that has a similar name, and it's still okay, though. That market research, that's part of all of our programs. And I've often referred to it like eating your vegetables. You know, when your parents tell you you have to eat your peas, which you hate them, or green beans, you have to eat everything on your plate. You got to eat your vegetables.
Yeah, you get the market research wrong, and you might as well just not do the rest of it, you know, if your market research is wrong.
Yeah, and ask people, well, what do you think about this price? And is there something else I'm missing? Would you pay this for this service? Would you like to go through it and maybe pay this much? Just so many questions that we have those kind of people in our ecosystems online that we can actually ask. Or what did you think about this graphic? Like some clients, when they had a podcast coming out, or they were going to launch a podcast and I was guiding them on that, and it ended up being like number 1 or number 2 that week, and they had so many listens. They at first asked, what do you think about this graphic? And they said it was too polished in the market research. And so they had something, they changed it to where it was more like kind of laid back, and it was a couples podcast, and they were sitting on a couch together with their dogs or with their animals. And the other one, they were on a boat and like holding each other with a suit and a really nice dress. And some of the people said, I just don't really relate to that. And like, I'm not often on a yacht, you know, like I love it and it's beautiful, but to listen and to be able to take information from it, it also has to be something I can relate to and feel personalized to me, like you were saying.